Hello everybody, it's Sam and welcome back to another Bronies UK video. Obviously, you by the title and obviously you know what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about My Little Pony, the next, the new generation. Uh, Basically the G5 film. I literally just watched it. Obviously, there will be some spoilers in this review, so do not watch this video if you have not watched the G5 film. So if you have not watched the G5 film, do not watch this video. Okay, right, here we go. So, initial thoughts. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. Um, I will say that it took me a while to get used to seeing a new generation of ponies in a new 3D digital animation because obviously having watched 9 seasons of Friendship is Magic in your traditional 2D animation plus a film plus a special plus all the Equestria Girl stuff as well, it did take me about 20 minutes, I'd say, to kind of get used to the animation style. I did like the animation style. I mean, as seen in the trailer, as discussed in the previous video, the animation was very smooth, very nice. There'd obviously been a lot of work put into it. It was a very nice thing to watch. I mean, it was very beautifully crafted. And definitely will say that from the animation perspective, yeah, I can definitely get used to it. Voice acting, uh, really good, top notch, really. It was really good to hear what the characters were finally going to be like. It was great to see the characters in motion. Great to see the story. Um, with Sunny's character, definitely I liked her. I mean, she's definitely my favourite. Um, a very a very zippy zappy happy pony. Very much a pony who has her dreams and ambitions and she knows what she wanted to achieve. Um, Getting into some spoiler stuff now. But wow, were they basically waving the flag and saying she's going to turn into an alicorn? I mean, I practically knew that was going to happen because there was literal toys of Sunny being leaked of her as an alicorn, and literally there's like half a dozen moments in the film where she basically is shown as an alicorn, like she's got wings and a horn, but it's like fake stuff. And it's like, yeah, you're basically saying she's going to become an alicorn. And I really want to talk about this bit, about this specific part of the film. So obviously, after going through the journey, gathering up the characters, going to the different locations, and finally bringing back magic to the land of Equestria, Sunny goes through a transformation and becomes an alicorn. However, here's where I found it to be really quite interesting. Her alicorn transformation is nothing like Twilight's. Whereas obviously Twilight gained a pair of wings and became an alicorn. Izzy is obviously an earth pony, but the difference being her wings and horn appear to be made out of essentially pure energy or pure magic, which is sort of like a golden colour. So I'm quite curious to see how this will progress into the G5 season, because obviously there is going to be a continuation from the film. There's going to be an actual G5 series. So I'm very curious to see how Sunny's transformation will change her. I mean, will it be something that's there all the time? Will it be something that she can activate as like an ability or a power? Is she still essentially an Earth pony, but just with a new ability? I mean, whether or not we could class this as the power of friendship, again, it is, but it's the power of friendship, but in a different setting. There's no elements of harmony this time. We have these 3 crystals, which obviously represent the Earth Pony, the Pegasi, and the Unicorns. Now, we don't know fully what the history of these crystals are. We don't know where they came from, how they originated, whether or not they're possibly the elements but in just a different form. But obviously, once they were all put together and the ponies came together and there was that spark, you know, Sunny transformation, surrounded by the crystals, turns into an alicorn, and big boom of rainbow friendship. Everybody gets their magic back. Everybody gets the flight back. Obviously, everybody's united through that one thing. But it was very much interests me to see what Sunny is going to be like character-wise as the series that's going to, I believe, coming out next year is going to progress with. At the moment, we don't know whether or not she, has what ability she might have magic-wise. We don't know if she will set out to fully unify everybody. Perhaps, maybe there's going to be pockets of non-unified ponies. Also, I'm very curious as to what the little end credit scene was all about, because, and for anybody that may not know this, if you haven't actually watched all the way at the end credits, there is an end credit scene, and it shows 3 young ponies, like children, obviously Unicorn, Pegasi, Earth Pony, all friends having a good time, and then they're basically singing a song, and then they challenge each other to a race. And as they sort of set off, it shows their hoof prints are glowing with the rainbow friendship magic. So I'm curious if that's setting anything up. I think the film itself is setting a lot up for Gen 5, the first season. So while as the Gen 5 film was in many ways a standalone thing, because it didn't really carry on into the final 3 seasons, with exception of obviously the Sea Ponies, and obviously they were in it and the Hippogriffs were in it, but that was the only connection. Whereas I think the G5 film, this story will basically be the primary, it will be like the primary backstory, if you will, the series. So what happened in this film will be the backstory for what's going to happen in the G5 series. Now, obviously, the music, I'll talk about the music. Obviously, music, songs is very key in My Little Pony. I like the music. The music in this film was definitely, in a lot of ways, it was being a parody. A lot of the songs I recognise as being parodies of sort of famous music tracks that have come out within the last probably 10-15 years, and they worked well. They definitely worked well for the characters. They worked well for setting the scenes. I like the fact that each song, at least for the original characters, each song represented the characters was there, and each song really really told its own story. So I did like the music. I liked the songs. Again, it was very different from G4, but that is the point. I'm not hating on the film at all. I did enjoy it. It was just, again, trying to get used to something that's different from a 9 seasons of G4. As I said, I did like the music. I fully enjoyed it. As for the overall story, I felt like, okay, the only real thing I think with the story, the overall story itself, I appreciate, yeah, it's only an hour and a half. It's not a big cinematic blockbuster. I just felt the ending was a bit sudden. Like, yes, magic came back. We all knew that was going to happen, because it's like literally that one brief 2-second scene in the trailer where you see the Pegasi with the rainbow glowing wings as they're flying, which was obviously, yeah, magic coming back into the world. But my only teeny complaint is how the film ends. It just sort of ends like you have, the magic back, flight back. You have them sort of with Sunny, and everyone's like, Sunny, look at you, type of thing, and then it kind of ends, and it just sort of felt like I would have liked a little bit more at the end, a couple of extra minutes, maybe just to sort of set things up a little bit more for the G5 Season 1. I mean, they have set things up, it's very clear that G5 Season 1, I think, will focus on, obviously, it'll focus on Sunny with her alicorn powers, because ultimately, I don't think we can class her as an alicorn, more like she has alicorn powers. I think that's the right way to phrase it. So I think we'll find out more about how her new abilities, her new powers that she's gained, how they will affect her, what she can do with them. I think also we will look into and find out the history of these three crystals. Obviously, the Pegasi, Earth, Pony, Unicorn crystals that were united to bring back the power of friendship and magic and flight and all that. I think we will find out where they originated from. Potentially, um, because we know that the main six, they are seen as a historical thing. Whether or not we're going to see potentially maybe some sort of history thing later on in G5, maybe like explaining a bit of a historical thing, maybe seeing what caused the rift. That'd be interesting. Also, what interests me as well, I did notice the in the moment where you had the main characters in the abandoned sort of flight airport style place they were in, there was that stained glass window, and I'm pretty sure there was meant to be Celestia or Luna. I think were on there. I at least saw one pony who looked a lot like Luna, so I'm fairly certain they're in that they're part of G5 in some way. So yeah, I think, as I said, I think G5 the series will carry on the story, but will look into explaining things as the crystals and Sunny's new abilities. As for kind of like, I would say one of the big differences for G5, or at least is the film. We don't know about the series yet, obviously. With this film, there was no villain. Like, there wasn't a specific villain. It was more like the group of friends coming together and ultimately trying to say to their fellow ponies, look, we can come together. We don't have to be enemies. We can be friends. I wouldn't like to say Sprout was a villain in a sense. Sprout was just sort of a character who just went a bit mad with power and decided to, seize the day. I'm going to be the pony that I've always dreamed of being. I'm going to be the pony that my mother sees me as. And with Sprout's mother, again, she wasn't really a villain. She was just a character doing what she thought was right. You had a lot of the stigmata going on. You had the whole thing of being told, oh, Pegasi unicorns, they're dangerous. They are really our enemies. We can't trust them. So there wasn't really a villain as per se. What it was sort of more really dealing with stereotypes. That's the only way I can describe it. On one note, I will definitely say some of the little Easter eggs in the film were brilliant, especially the cinema in Mertown Bay that had a Terminator 2. It was, what was it called? I can't remember what they called it now. Is it Namator or Mater 2 or some, or Judgment Near, something like that? But it was a Terminator 2 with a unicorn with the Terminator eye. That was very clever. I like that. One of the greatest films ever made, always makes its way into pop culture. But yeah, I did enjoy the film. What else? Characters, as I said, Sunny, really like Sunny. Izzy was brilliant. Izzy was the Pinkie Pie of this universe. I had the distinct impression she had a bit of magic in her, because she was always talking about everybody's like sparkles. And I'm wondering, does Izzy have some weird ability to see other ponies, like inner auras, like their inner magic, their inner selves? Because I got the impression that she had some sort of innate ability that might get explained in the first season of G5. Now with Hitch, again, Hitch is definitely coming through with Fluttershy's abilities, because it's very clear that he can interact with animals in the same way Fluttershy could, and all the animals seem to trust him. So, again, I think we'll be looking at Hitch's character being explored in the series more, and potentially maybe even learning more about him and what potentially he can do. Now, Zip was definitely the Rainbow Dash of this group. And again, I get the impression that in the series, she will very much take up a Rainbow Dash-esque kind of style. There were references to the Wonderbolts in this film, so again, we know the G4 timeline is there in some way. So maybe Zip will, I don't know, maybe she'll bring back the Wonderbolts. But again, interesting for her. And now with Pip, I found Pip to be very interesting for several reasons. One of them being because she was very much almost like a modern person. Pip was representing, in a lot of ways, almost like the modern child, like the modern preteen, the modern teenager, the modern 8-year-old. She used social media, she did dance videos. She was a social media star, and her character was very much the modern pony. She was representing all the modern fans. So, and her character is to try and connect with that modern fan base that will be on social media, and that's what her character represents. So yeah, ultimately, I did enjoy this film. I enjoyed the characters, the animation, the music, and I am very much looking forward to the first season of Gen 5, which I believe is sometime next year. As I said, I am really interested in Sunny and exactly what her role is going to be in the series. As I said, she's effectively. I wouldn't class her as like I said. I'm gonna briefly touch upon this again because it just really interests me. I can't class her as in a sense as a like a full born alicorn, if you will. I see her more as an earth pony who is now being enhanced by magic and has alicorn attributes or abilities. And I think she's going to be very key for later stories. Now, whether or not she's going to end up being like, a de facto ruler, too early to tell. I mean, in a lot of ways, Pip and Zip and their mother, they were, the royalty of Zephyr Heights, but whether or not they were kind of in charge, again, you get the impression that they were sort of power in name only. They were sort of trying to keep all the Pegasi spirits up in a way by giving the illusion that we can fly. We haven't lost our flight. Fortunately, you every day of Pegasi you have, but we the royals can fly. And very much it was them. Yeah, it was them kind of lying, but at the same time trying to do what was right. Like they were trying to just keep the status quo and trying to keep a little bit of hope alive. So I don't. I'd be interested to see just how a unified Equestria in the G5 universe is going to impact all these characters. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the world because I generally think there's a lot more to see in the G5 world. As for other things I'd like to see in the G5 series next year, okay, so obviously, as I've mentioned, I want to know more about Sunny and her new Alicorn powers and appearance. 2, I want to know what caused the actual split and what caused the loss of magic. 3, or technically 4, is Discord still around? That I think is very important. 5, are any of the original Alicorns still around? Celestia, Luna, Twilight, Cadence, Flurryheart, are they still around somewhere? So that's definitely some stuff I'd love to see addressed in the G5 series next year and within its continuing seasons, however many it has. But yeah, ultimately, that is pretty much as I want to say because we are going to have a very in-depth discussion about this film Saturday night, so tomorrow. Somewhere around about 8 o'clock, half 8 tomorrow evening, we are going to have a big live stream and we are going to talk about this film. So do join us. We are going to talk about it. So thanks for listening. This has been Sam's review on the G5 film. Hope you've enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing your thoughts on the film, and I look forward to seeing you all in the live stream tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Peace out, Brunners UK. Have a great day.